I can't believe they didn't believe. We had to show them, now they could see. We are all winners, we are all winners. We are all winners, we are all winners. They were acting slow, so we had to show. Now they could see we achieved the most. We are all winners, we are all winners. We are all winners, we are all winners. We speak for the people, we speak for the streets. We speak like politicians and we got degrees. We are all winners, we are all winners. We are all winners, we are all winners.
Hey, what it do, world, and welcome to We Are All Winners, the podcast, man, with me, Ray Diggs. Man, it's so good to be back. I had to come on here and I had to talk about the P. Diddy situation. As you all know, this right here past week has been the verdict of the highly anticipated trial of Sean Diddy Combs. They acquitted him of sex trafficking and racketeering, which I had already predicted. I knew that this right here would happen, but they also found him guilty on a few charges. But before we get started, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the share button. Make sure y'all go to the Facebook page and hit the like on the We Are All Winners, the podcast Facebook with me, Ray Diggs. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into this thing, man. Like I said, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs was acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering. Now he was convicted of prostitution. It was pretty much he got 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, but he was acquitted the more serious charges, which was racketeering and sex trafficking. Okay, so and in my own personal opinion, I had been following this case ever since it started in May, the beginning of May when it started. I was just talking to somebody today, and I was like, if people don't know, Diddy was actually trying to get that trial pushed back. The judge would not allow it. The judge told him that the trial will go on in May. And I think that they made a mistake. I think this right here falls on the prosecution, the prosecutors, okay? The federal government. I think they botched this case. I think they blew this case. Now, if they had a significant argument that they could have found him guilty of racketeering and prostitution, racketeering and sex trafficking. I don't know about the racketeering, the RICO. That was the biggest one for me. And just following this case, and I've been going back and forth with my homeboy ever since this case first started. He said that they was gonna find something, and my whole thing was, what will they find? I didn't think they would find much, because was it things to find? It was. You know, it was a lot that they could have found, but they did a terrible job in this whole entire trial. I think that they try to make him out to be a nasty person, and he might be nasty. He's a domestic person. He's a terrible person. You can say whatever it is that you want to say, and it's probably going to be true. But it's not about what you say. It's about what you can prove in court. That is how this world works. It's about what you can get and what you can it's about what you can prove to these jurors that this person committed these crimes. And the prosecutors did a horrible job with their trying to prove that. And everybody is getting, these jurors are taking a lot of backlash. The judge, honestly, I think that the judge only kept him in jail for the prosecutors. I think that he knew that they blew this case, and it won't surprise me if they try to max him out, because the 2 charges that he was he was convicted of carry a max of 10 years. Okay, 10 years per charge, so that's a total of 20 years. Okay, so I think that the judge honestly might try to max him out. Now, if they actually do that, I think it's going to be a lot of blowback, because if you do that for him, you got to do this for everybody. He's a first-time felon. He's never been charged for this crime. And And I just think that the people that was around him could have easily gotten out. Now we can say that Cassie stayed, because she was intimidated. Then Cassie's lawyer pretty much came out and wrote a letter from Cassie and said that she's intimidated if he gets a bond. Now you came in there and you got up on the stand. You stayed with this man all of these years, but now you're intimidated. All of these people, your friends, writing letters to the judge saying that y'all are all intimidated. I think it's a bunch of BS. That's just my opinion. And the reason I say that is because none of these people was intimidated until now. Everybody was because they thought that he was going to get found guilty. That's what it was. Don't be mad at him. Be mad at the prosecutors because they was the one who presented a weak case. And if the prosecutors probably would have took off that RICO, they probably would have had a better chance. Because in the RICO situation, first of all, it's for two or more group. It's for a group, not just one person. It's the first time I've ever seen one person on a RICO. And honestly, I think that it was more than one person. Because if you would have went out there and got KK, which was Diddy's personal assistant, and maybe even his bodyguard, you probably could have got a better conviction in the sex trafficking. Or take one of the people that y'all put up there on the stand, the first person, which is Cassie, and put her right there beside Diddy, you probably would have got a conviction as well. Because she was just as guilty as Diddy was. If Diddy was 1A, she was definitely 1B. And I would say KK is probably 1-3, with the bodyguard being a distant 2A. So if you're gonna go after him, that's how you should have went. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't think nobody. I think this right here was a big money grab for all of them. I think that the only reason why Cassie came forward was because her husband made her go forward and say, you know what, we can get this amount of money for your suffering while being with Sean Combs. So she got 20 million, and then she got another 10 million from the hotel. So she got a total of $30 million. And I was listening to one of the jurors yesterday, and he made a lot of sense. He was basically saying how they could not prove that a crime was committed. But my question for him was, how in the hell did y'all find him guilty on the transportation? It should have been unanimous, acquitted of all charges, in my opinion, because they didn't prove them. And his words was, they look like, from looking at the video, Cassie, Shane, looked like they was having a good time. It don't look like they was being forced to do nothing. So I'm trying to figure out how the hell did y'all find him guilty of anything then? If they look like they wouldn't have been forced, they look like they look like they're having a good time, the oil everywhere. How did y'all find him guilty of anything? Because I think that the judge wanted him to be found guilty. He needed him to fall. Because this right here was one of the most expensive prostitution case in the history of prosecution case. This is the most expensive one. And for them to lose it, the prosecutors know they're in trouble right now. And that's why they're going to keep on writing letters to the judge, trying to give him the max sentence. But in reality, the prosecutors just should take this as an L. Take this as a learning experience. We know that next time when we bring something like this up on anybody, we know we got to do our homework. We know that we got to tie up all loose ends. We see the mistakes that we made. We cannot make those mistakes again. There's no need for y'all to continue to try to go after this man because you lost. In the end, you lost. But you're going to continue to write all these letters to try to get them to give this man a max sentence, which nobody has ever got a max sentence for this. Everybody always get, a first time offense of this charge. Everybody always get between, I think they were saying maybe between 2 to 3 years. That is the max. Nobody has ever got 10 years. But I can see this judge listening to what the prosecutors are saying. Because you can say what you want to say, but I think the judge wanted Sean Combs Diddy to lose this case. And I think he was pissed off, and that's the reason why he denied bail. Because my opinion is this, and this is all my opinion. Why would you deny his bond? Why not just give him a bond and let him go home to his family? But now everybody's scared. You got the chef scared, you got Cassie scared, her lawyer scared, her husband scared, you got her best friend scared. Everybody writing all these letters. And then you keep him locked up until October. But like I said, I feel like if I'm Sean Combs, if I'm Diddy, if I'm not, damn sure ain't. But if I'm him, I wouldn't care what y'all do. They acquitted me of the most serious charges. I walked inside that courtroom on when it was Wednesday. I think it was like Wednesday, and I was facing a life sentence. I walked out of there with a maximum of 20 years, which honestly, I think a maximum of about 3 years. You can't tell me nothing. I'm in jail right now. I'm chilling. I'm enjoying. Matter of fact, I'm getting as much rest as possible because I beat something that not every day people can say that they beat the feds, the federal government. This man right here can honestly say he beat the federal government. Now he still got a bunch of lawsuits in which I think this case right here was going to help a lot of those lawsuits. A lot of these lawsuits he probably going to settle, but I think a lot of these lawsuits he just go ahead on and beat them just like he beat this. Because honestly, I think everybody was having fun, and I think this right here is just quick. When you got 50, 60 lawsuits, so you telling me you don't want him to get charged? You want the money. It's a quick money grab. That's the same thing I said with Cassie. I think Cassie thing was a money grab. You don't want him to go to jail. You want him to, well, and Cassie, if y'all think about it, Cassie didn't even, the feds came to her and subpoenaed her to put her up there on the stand. Same thing they did with Jane. Same thing they did with Kid Cudi. With Kid Cudi, I think he made a bad decision by getting up there on that stand. And I think if he had to do it all over again, I don't think he would do it. Because honestly, you put yourself up there on the stand and nothing happened. For your situation, they pretty much just threw it to the side. They feel like you should sort of suck that one. And you had no evidence. You just said that your car got blew up. Anybody could have done that. But that's why the jury said it. There was no evidence. The jury said that, like I said, the jury said that they looked like that everybody was having fun. And that's why he was acquitted of all these charges, the serious charges. Yes, he got hit with 2 charges, which was the prostitution-related counts, which is transportation of prostitutes. But like I tell everybody, listen, if you find a woman out paying for the hotel or paying for you flying out to your house, or you doing all this flying out, and she's getting money for it after she done, or you taking her shopping, I mean, it's just like what he was doing. But in the end, he beat the most serious. And I hope this right here wakes him up. Will it wake him up? Will it wake him up? I don't know. I hope it does. Because he dodged a massive sentence, which was life in prison. And I think that's what these prosecutors want. I don't even think they would have taken a plea deal. I don't think the plea deal was even on the table. I think that it was all or nothing. I think the prosecutors went all in. Because if y'all remember that when they could not get to when they could not come to a verdict on the racketeering, they said that the judges got the prosecutors and the defense, and they wasn't even talking to each other. Because there was all or nothing between these two sides. I think they hated each other. I think it was pretty much all or nothing. And I think the jury's got it right. In my opinion, I think the jury's got it right. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Tell me what y'all think about this trial. It was a 2-month trial. And I was just listening to what everybody had to say. A lot of women, are mad about it. The Me Too movement and all of that stuff right there. They're mad about it, saying that, this right here set women back. This right here is why women do not want to come forward. This is not the reason why. Because the prosecutors just had a terrible case. This right here was this right here was a case of them not tying up all the loose ends and making this a case that they could possibly win. That is what this is. This ain't got nothing to do with setting women back or women coming forward. Like, the jurists got this right. And I said it from the beginning. When I first heard Cassie the first week, and then I was just listening as the weeks went by, they thought, and I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna let y'all go. We've been on here for 16 minutes, and I got a podcast. When I heard them say, or when I heard them continue to use the video, which this wasn't a domestic video. Now, if it was a domestic video, then he's already guilty the first week. Once they showed the video, that was it. By them continuing to show the video, it told me that they want to make this right here into a domestic case to try to squeeze in a RICO and a sex trafficking. That just didn't happen because the prosecutors did a horrible job. And everything that the prosecutors did, I think Diddy's defense team had a good comeback for everything. They punched a hole. They was punching holes in everything that that the prosecutors brought up. The defense punched holes in it. In every single story. And like I said, I'm not saying that his team is a dream team, but they are a hell of a team. They are a hell of a team. To get him out of all of this, that's a hell of a team. Because he was facing life in prison. He come out with a maximum of 20 years, maybe, minimum of probation. That's a pretty good. I'm gonna take that outcome any day. But the prosecutors messed this up. And when they said this at the end, that the jurors could not come to a decision on the racketeering, the RICO, because it wasn't persuadable. I said, my thinking was this: if you didn't persuade me today, what the hell make you think you're gonna persuade me tomorrow? If I've already listened to everything that you brought forward, and I wasn't persuaded on Tuesday by me going to my hotel room, going to sleep, getting me something to eat, going to sleep, it's gonna persuade me. What else can you bring that's gonna persuade me to say that he's guilty of a RICO? Nothing else. It's nothing else that they could have done. And that's right there why they found him not guilty on the RICO. The judge continued to push them because he wanted a guilty verdict. Which, if you don't get a guilty verdict and you get a mistrial, do y'all not know if you get a mistrial, then they can retrial him again? By them getting a verdict, they cannot trial him on this again. In this case, no. And somebody asked me, one of my partners asked me, what if the state tried to do it? Listen, if the state can't do it, because if the federal government couldn't get it done, you damn sure know the state can't do it. Think about what the state just did with the YSL trial. We definitely ain't gonna put them up there. We definitely ain't gonna put the state up there and try to have them a case against a damn billionaire. No, the state, no. Why would they waste that type of money? The state won't even do it. That's why it was a federal case. But hey, what y'all let me know what y'all think, man. And no matter how y'all feel about this case, your personal opinion, we all have a personal opinion, but it's right and wrong. Was he wrong? He was wrong, and he was wrong in a lot of this, but they cannot prove it's wrong. And in everything, it's about being able to prove something. You just can't lock a person up because you think that they did something wrong. You have to be able to prove that this person did something wrong. But then y'all let me know what y'all think. Like I said before, Sean Diddy, he was acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering, the most serious charges, where he faced life in prison, and he was found guilty of 2 counts of transportation prostitution. And right now, like I said, he have another court date for October. I think October the 3rd or the 4th, where he would get his sentencing. And I'm predicting right here, right now, that he will most likely get either probation or he'll get between 2 and 3 years. I'm gonna go with I think they give him maybe 1 to 2 years, and I think by time served, he's gonna walk up out of there that day. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Until next time, man. Y'all thank y'all for listening to another great segment of We Are All Winners, the podcast, man. With me, Ray Diggs. Until next time, peace.